I'm gonna explore this Alita coffee today. And we're here in a roastery. We're at the Bean and Bean Roastery, and we're gonna taste this coffee. We're gonna talk a little bit about these Alita, these very fancy coffees, like what makes them fancy, and of course that comes down to, the greens and all of that, but also from a taste perspective. And I'm here with Jiyoon. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, let's hear more about this coffee, because...
Sure, so I was in Panama at Wilford's Farm, Dole Masters Family Estates, in March 2024 with my mom. We were there for a week and I got to taste cup 40 to 50 of Wilford's coffees. Naturals, honeys, washed, all Gesha coffees. And this was my favorite one. I scored it a 91.5, so did Wilford. And the average score between myself, my mother, Wilford's son, Wilford Jr., and their coffee dream team on site in Panama, the average was 91.5.
Okay, so that's 90 plus, very, very high. Usually a lot of coffees, like the good coffees that a lot of people are drinking are in that 87, 88 range,
Sure.
89, and then we got 90 plus, which is pretty crazy. And we got some of that coffee here, so we're gonna go and taste it. So there it is. You do not have a lot of this coffee, right?
No, it's very limited.
Wow, that smells crazy. Wow.
Yeah, we just roasted this this morning. We wanted to emphasize how clean and sweet the cup is, while retaining the florality and a lot of the jasmine notes in the coffee. So Brian was asking me earlier what makes a 90 plus coffee 90 plus. Really, clean cup and sweetness are key, but they're almost table stakes. Beyond that, what I'm looking for is clarity in the notes. So how clear is each note and attribute expressed and defined? So this coffee is just super vibrant, super bright, complex, layered, just one note after the next in this harmonious way, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and with coffees like this, there just is not that much of it in existence. Get coffees that score that high, right? There's only so much of it that exists. And a coffee like this, you only got, 20 kilograms, right?
10 kilos.
10.
I'll show you
Okay.
the box.
Yeah, sure. Let's go over there. Yeah. So this is some of the roastery, and I know you guys.
This is our Jansen coffee.
Yeah, we got Panama, and I know you guys always care about this stuff, but look at this, guys. It is a Loring.
So this is one box, and we have two of these boxes. Each box is 5 kilograms. And today's roast was our first batch.
Yeah. So I don't know when this video will go up, but when it does, there probably will. That's it. That is all the coffee that
Box
exists.
1, box 2.
Yeah. So if it's around, I'll put it in the description. But otherwise,
We also just got a box of washed Gesha from Altieri.
Is that
this
Esmeralda?
Is Esmeralda Gesha. It's a natural. This was my favorite coffee when I cupped with the Esmeralda mother-daughter team in Panama.
That's
It's a beautiful,
natural, right?
expressive, explosive natural with lots of clarity and character. So we're excited to have washed geshas, natural geshas, geshas from different farms, from the Boquete region and also the Volcan region where Jansen's farm is. So many different flavors of Panama.
Is that also 90 plus? Or what did you
Yeah, they are 90 plus.
Okay.
All of these are 90 plus.
Very dangerous for the wallet.
Yeah.
Let's taste this one since it's roasted. The other coffees, they're not roasted yet, but we got a roasted version of this coffee, and for those of you guys who have had the opportunity of tasting coffees in this score range, which I think I've only had once before, which was Best of Panama Finca Sofia #2, which was one of the first few times I had it above 90 plus coffee. It was just so loud, so expressive, and I'm really looking forward to tasting this one. And hopefully the X Bloom can do it justice, since I happen to be here.
I have a high level of confidence.
All right, let's go ahead and brew something. Okay. All right, dosing out some coffee. We're just doing 15 grams for this. All right, we're gonna grind some of this coffee and give it a smell. I always struggle with describing levels of intensity with aromatics. I'm so much better at tasting than smelling. I know you're really into smelling the dry dose of these coffees.
Yeah, that's the best part of brewing coffee every morning. Like the aromatics, the fragrance, and the aroma.
I'm more of like that when the coffee is being brewed, not like dry doses. I just feel like whenever I smell these dry doses, I mean, okay. Wow, okay, well that's a little different when we're talking coffees of this caliber, but that is insane. I mean, it is fresh, but I'm smelling so much of these just
Plum.
Yeah, like
Plum, jasmine, lemongrass. It's very perfumey.
But it's like the clean perfume.
Yeah.
We're not talking like thermal shock process perfuming. We're talking clean expressiveness. Wow. Oh man.
I love that we
it's
can do this on
crazy.
the X Bloom.
Oh yeah.
This compartment, yeah.
Yes, this is our
So we
amazing
can get the
catch cup.
fragrance.
Dump it in there. Wow. I mean, I'm standing decently far away from this coffee, and I can smell it. You would expect this level of, I guess, loudness out of something like a natural or a more processed coffee, but this is a super clean wash coffee.
Yeah, it's a beautiful washed coffee. I think very characteristic of Panama Gesha coffees, and Wilford's Alita coffees. This was my favorite at the table, and it wasn't just one table. It was like 4 or 5.
4 tables, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm building my recipe. Anybody asks on the X Bloom stuff. Making an Alita recipe, guys. If you were curious. Actually, we already ground the coffee, so no grinder. But 1 to 17, 15 grams, 60 mils, 95 Celsius. This is a fresher roast, so we have a longer bloom. And we got all this. I like to just run at 95 Celsius with these lighter coffees. I mean, this is a very light coffee. If you have not seen those beans already, wow, you can smell it back here. That's crazy. But it's interesting because it's like all of those clean coffee aspects, florality, that acidity, all of that, cleanliness, but you just get it all the way out here. And it's not like, it's like perfumey, but not like fake perfumey, if that makes sense. I don't know, I'm always really bad at describing aromatics. But I'm just like smelling it from here. I'm like, wow, that smells amazing.
I'm excited for this to age a little bit and see how the coffee evolves over time.
I just also like that there isn't a lot of this coffee, hype limited edition coffee release. All right, this brew is wrapping up. What flavor notes did you get?
Let's
or do we not look at it? Not look at it?
together.
Okay. So yeah, our brew is like around 3:30, but we have a minute-long bloom because this is a pretty fresh batch. So it'll help open up everything. But quick little coffee tip there is if you do have very fresh coffees, let them bloom longer. Wow. Citrus?
Yeah. Plum. Like the Japanese green plums, ume.
Oh yeah,
Ume
yes.
wine. What is that called?
It's like pink.
Sweet plum wine.
Yeah. Let's taste it.
Okay.
Yeah, wow. I really just don't get chances to taste coffees like this, let alone with expert Q-grader coffee person.
Coffee lover.
Yes. Wow. Vanilla? Smell some of that in there.
Wow.
What are you? Wait, actually, let me taste. Let me taste it, and we can
Why
compare.
don't you
Okay.
taste it?
We're gonna give this a taste. Wow, that's just the level of intensity in aromatics. It's like, I'm standing many feet away from where the coffee's brewed. I can smell it. It's like everything's just turned up to 11.
Turn up to 11.
Wow, that's nice. I mean, it's so sweet.
So sweet.
The first thing I'm
And
getting is
so
just like
clean.
Yeah, like I am a clean wash coffee guy. I love clean coffees, and what's also standing out to me is okay. I'm like, there's a lot going on. This is like the other thing too, is I'm figuring out how do I even describe what I am tasting? It's everything I know, my tongue and all that says I like this a lot. Now I'm trying to articulate. Now I'm trying to be like, what am I exactly tasting? Wow. I mean, it's so sweet. It's interesting because, maybe because this is a fresher batch, I get hit with so much sweetness up front. It's like a sweetness forward coffee. And then I'm starting to get like a lot of this acidity coming out. But the finish is like so round. I mean, it's like sweetness everywhere, but it's so clean.
The aftertaste is very clean. I think right now the way the coffee is brewing, given that just roasted it this morning, I do get the sweetness in the front and the acidity towards the middle. And I get a lot of sweet plum, florals, a lot of clarity, clarity and flavor.
Yeah, but also what I'm experiencing is here is something, and you just get it all throughout the cup. It's like massive layering. There's like the linger of something is just there for so much
From
longer.
start to end.
Yeah, start to end, and it's dynamic. It's changing. But I'm like, okay, I'm like, okay, what is the type of sweetness I'm getting? Let me think. Let me taste it.
I got like not oranges but clementine sweetness, like the sweeter than orange.
Like the
Clementine,
smaller
tart.
oranges.
Yeah, cuties almost.
Yeah.
Type of
That,
sweetness.
Yeah, it's
right
like,
now.
but it's clean.
Yeah.
It's like, so I'm not talking like any sort of like candy notes or anything like that. I'm talking like real fruits. Wow. Sweet. Okay, you wrote sweet plum, floral, bright and complex,
Very bright.
jasmine, lemongrass. Yeah.
Like you say, it's a dynamic coffee.
With coffees of this caliber, the other thing that I also experience a lot of is structure of acidity. Is like there's this acidity, and it's just like very, very defined. And I'm like, I don't even think I have the best palate, and I'm tasting this, and I'm like,
You have a great palate, Brian.
and it's like, just that acidity lingers too. Now that it's really cooled down, it's like there's this really lovely, complex, structured acidity that is lifting up, and it just stays there. And then it finishes sweet and clean and all of that. The acidity I'm trying to describe, I'm like, okay, lemongrass is 100% what I'm getting, but maybe a little bit of citrus as well.
Citrus, not quite lemon, but like grapefruit, like sparkliness.
Yeah, like the sparkly, structured acidity of a clean, washed geisha, right? That is like what we are experiencing right now. But it's all of that, but just more, I don't know. It's like so hard to describe. The way I would just say it's like intensity, how like impactful you get those notes, but also the linger of it. That's the one thing that I've only been able to taste these coffees, coffees of this caliber a handful of times, and the takeaway is, yes, crazy aromatics, but from a flavor perspective, it is how long things exist for. And it's like so much, like the extension of flavors and the depth of the flavor is so much with a coffee like this. And, I would argue we can brew this coffee a lot better, right? We can make way different recipes. And even from a recipe perspective, you get coffees like this, you could do anything you want to. You just pour water on it, it's gonna taste good.
Yeah, this was our first, we're trying to dial it in. And I think what's nice about great coffees, good quality greens, is that the margin of error is much smaller. So however you brew it, it's still gonna taste good, but we can of course push this and make it taste even better.
Yeah, but this is such an incredible coffee. Wow. I'm having a great time. I'm behind the camera. I'm recording, right? I'm having a great time, but it's like, wow, this is wow. I mean, now that it's really cooled down, it's like so much is happening with this structure of acidity, but like after that acidity kind of transitions into this crazy level of sweetness, and then there's just like so clean, like, and there's definition too. It's like weird that it's interesting because like everything is actually very well defined, but it's still tied together, and I think it's really tied together through some of the sweetness, and I love the texture that I'm experiencing as well. This is incredible.
With coffee, I imagine like an orchestra. So you can have a star violinist, you can have a star clarinetist, you can have a star cellist, but do they all play well with each other? And does the conductor conduct the coffee note, the orchestra, in such a way that it sounds like one voice, while if you really listen, you can hear the soprano, you can hear the baritone. It's kind of like Bach, one of my favorite composers. There are multiple voices, 4 voices, and when you are listening to it from the outside, it's one voice, but if you really listen to each individual voice, you can map out each note, and I think that's what a great coffee does. It's all these different attributes. How are they linked together? How are they playing together? Is it harmonious, or is there some sort of dissonance? The acidity may be too pointed and sort of playing all by itself, while the other attributes are not cohering with the acidity. But this coffee is a great example of how everything plays really well together.
Yeah, super harmonious coffee. My palate is experiencing a beautiful symphony.
Yes.
You have not a lot of this coffee.
No. We have 10 kilograms.
That's it.
That's it.
How much of this coffee existed?
It was a very small lot.
Yeah.
So not so much more than what I bought.
Wow.
Wilford's coffee farms are so high in altitude that he's still harvesting through May, June, and sometimes beyond. So I'm trying to see if I can get some more coffees.
Yeah, but these are pricey coffees. Okay,
Yeah.
we're talking like this is the tippy top. Whenever I look at these crazy best of Panama coffees, crazy coffees, right? Like a lot of that stuff I can't buy. I can't buy.
Yeah.
I would make the argument that this, first of all, I could buy it. That's a big difference, is I can actually go to a website and buy. But the second thing is that I think when you hit to this type of score, it's like diminishing returns. Like things can get better. I mean, I've experienced better. I experienced Carmen Washed, #1. That was like probably the cleanest coffee I had ever experienced in my entire life. But is that coffee many, many, many more times more expensive? Like worth it? Is it many that diminishing returns better? Not necessarily from a price perspective, in my opinion. But when I also take a step back and I look at something like this is like what, $80 for a bag, like a 4-ounce bag. That's a hell of a lot of money. Like not gonna lie, right? That's a lot of money. Like for a coffee like this. But to experience the best of what coffee can do for $80, I don't know. I'm like, that's not bad when I think about it.
Yeah, and I'm so happy for the Lomastas family because they won Best of Panama first place this year in 2024 for their natural geisha from the same soil, the same mountain that this coffee is from. So
it's pretty good. Yeah. This is only a 91.5 coffee, right? It's pretty good. I've always really just wanted an opportunity to taste coffees like this with people who know how to taste coffee, and it just being able to hear, some of those more articulated thoughts about coffee. Taking what you taste and translating it into words is such a hard skill. Like, it's something I'm working on, and I hope this was helpful, right? Just having Jiyoon here talking a bit about just tasting coffees. It's just like super super fun to hear about. But for me, getting to taste coffees like this with someone who is an expert at tasting, it's very very helpful for building kind of perspective in coffee, also improving my skills and whatnot. But it's like, it's just fun. Like, this is such a great, this is such a great coffee.
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible. I just really want to share this because happen to be in town, happen to have a coffee like this. Very, very rare. I think this will be on the website at some point too.
Yeah.
So
very soon.
Very soon, so hopefully you get that in that description. I would love it if you guys could pick up this specific coffee, do a split of it. I don't know, pick it up, share these coffees with people, because there isn't that much of this coffee. There really just aren't that many 91.5 coffees or 90 plus coffees that exist in the world, and this is readily available, which is crazy. It's like you can just go to a website and buy stuff now, because I just feel like, when I look at those auctions, all that's locked away. I can't get that coffee, right? But I can get something that is very very close to it, and it at least lets me build that perspective of what I could potentially daily drink, although that would hurt my wallet a lot. But yeah. So anyway, just wanted to share this experience with you all and this coffee. But more so wanted to talk more about what types of, what exists out there in the coffee world. And I wanted to have Jiyoon here talk a little bit more about it, because she got to do that and give the score, and you know what you're doing.
I like what I'm doing.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Thank you guys so much for watching the video.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jiyoon. And yeah, that is an amazing coffee. Wow. All right, see you guys later.